as Australia's media giants shake up the landscape with the SCA Seven merger and investors now push back hard. What does it actually mean for the media industry and for marketing as well? For more, we're joined by Darren Woolley, CEO of one of APAC's leading marketing management consultancies, Trinity P3. Also, the start of a great brand new segment here on TICKER. Good to have you on the program, Darren.
Thanks, Ahron. Good to be here.
All right, let's start talking about SCA 7. There's a lot to get through, obviously. Why do you see this merger as significant for the media landscape and the media industry?
Well, what we're seeing here is a continued consolidation of legacy media. Nine and Fairfax were a few years ago. Now we're seeing SCA and Seven West merging as well. And they're doing that because the market is incredibly competitive for advertising. You've got major global players in Meta, Google, ByteDance and Amazon, all competing for advertising dollars. And the fragmented traditional media market has to consolidate to get the type of scale that they need to be able to compete against those major players for their share of the advertising dollar.
Well, talk to us about that. What opportunities do you think this could create for advertisers?
Well, it's interesting because a lot of people are saying, one of the obvious things is having less businesses to deal with because you're getting this consolidation. But I think the big opportunity is not so much in having the various media platforms within one company, but particularly around 7news.com, and the 7+ streaming, along with Listener over at SCA, are all platforms that collect lots of consumer information around usage, demographics and that type of thing. And that's going to be particularly valuable for advertisers to be able to see that on a consolidated basis across a number of different media platforms. That'll also, obviously there's reduced cost, but that will largely go into hopefully delivering margins into the business and to shareholders. The interesting thing is this consolidation seems to be on a roll because we've also learnt today that Nine is in discussions with Paramount and 10 on actually consolidating their sales teams as well. So, this is a major trend that's happening. And I think there will be benefits for marketers and advertisers, but it's really for those platforms to be able to compete with these very large global businesses.
It's interesting because there's been a lot of investor backlash about, I guess, this merger. And what does that say about industry confidence, particularly about television at the moment, because that seems to be what they're worried about? And what risk does this sort of merger pose for marketers with fewer networks to choose from?
Well, I don't think they're going to have fewer networks. There'll still be the networks that are there at the moment, But yes, free-to-air television is struggling. Streaming is becoming incredibly popular and competitive. Radio continues to hold a part of the market. But really where the opportunity is for marketers is getting better understanding of the people that are actually using those media. It's not just enough to have reach and frequency. What you want to understand is who are the consumers and are they in a mindset to be able to be communicated with and influenced to purchase. Effectiveness is becoming a much bigger issue, and we're seeing particularly overseas networks, media networks starting to do more work around actually proving efficacy rather than just numbers.
Yeah, it's very interesting indeed. But at least Seven ends up finally with some sort of subscription model through listeners, so that might be good for them. Now, AI startups from OpenAI to Anthropic and also Perplexity are shifting gears, pouring millions into emotional brand building as they fight to win consumer trust in an increasingly crowded market. Talk to us, Darren, about why AI startups suddenly are investing in brand campaigns.
Well, I think what we're seeing here is really the AI marketing wars have commenced. AI has become almost ubiquitous, and the competition that's occurring within that category is meaning that they're having to move away from simply doing distribution deals and backing applications to actually starting to build a preference in the marketplace for their particular brand of AI. It's interesting that these brand activities are not about OpenAI as they are about ChatGPT, not about Anthropic, they're about Claude. The only one that has the same brand and product is Perplexity, which did a great ad using the Squid Games lead, having a gentle go at Google for their search applications.
I guess so much at the moment is about trust in AI. Are you seeing, I guess, that consumer mistrust shaping these sorts of marketing strategies and campaigns?
Oh, absolutely. You know, all of the research is showing us that consumers are associating AI with the very much Hollywood version of it. You know, the Terminator, Skynet is coming to not only take our jobs, but take control of the world. And so, you know, there is a lot of fear and mistrust in a lot of this technology, and much of the advertising is trying to address that, while at the same time building preference in a increasingly competitive market.
It's interesting, Anthropic's keep thinking approach, because one of the things we worry about with AI, of course, is it stops people from thinking. So they're getting that feedback back and they're trying to jump on it straight away. It's a very interesting one because, as you say, there are now so many different organizations in the AI space that trying to find space and get your message out is going to be a real war.
Well, there's going to be two really key groups here. One is the B2B market, where they're really selling the AI technology into businesses for building more productive workflow processes. But there's also the consumer level, where being an assistant or being helpful or improving the quality of life is so important.
Yeah.
Either of those, you need a high level of trust to make that level of commitment, because in both of them, any automation or any handing over of responsibility to AI comes with giving up a certain level of control, and that requires trust.
All right. Now, Meta is giving UK users the choice to scroll ad-free on Facebook and Instagram for a small monthly fee, marking a major shift in how the social giant responds to regulators. Darren, this is essentially a rollout. Why?
Yes, it's ironic in a way, because most of, if not all of Meta's revenue comes from advertising, and now they're moving to a user pay system. And it reminds me of the advertising saying that if you're not paying for the product, then you probably are the product. And I think what governments are realising is that they need to put controls around Meta, so they've introduced this user pay system. Having said that, there's also reports that they're planning to bring advertising to the WhatsApp platform next year. So in one side, they're offering a user pay system. They're also at the same time looking for additional advertising revenue, perhaps to offset it. Because they're addressing a government issue, I think what we're going to see is what is the uptake. And if there's a relatively low uptake of pay for service, then they'll be able to say to government, people prefer to have a free platform. Having said that, even if you're paying for it, the danger is that Meta will still be collecting your behavioural data and be able to bundle that up and sell it to the highest bidder. So either way, it's not necessarily, just because you're not getting ads doesn't mean your data is not being used for commercial purposes.
We've got about 30 seconds, but do you see this setting a precedent for other tech companies, YouTube, for example?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we will see more and more of them as the criticism of social media and the way that personal data is used and privacy. There will be more pressure for them to find new ways of actually commercialising the service.
Gosh, it's frightening stuff, isn't it? The way that they're having to quickly move. Really appreciate your time. Darren Woolley, CEO, as we say, of Trinity P3. Really appreciate your time and looking forward to kicking off our segment here at TICKER going forward as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Ahron.